Hi, I'm Cole Costello, and this is North Marion Athletics.
Throughout the entire course of the week, there was thrilling athletic action taking place in and around North Marion Athletics. The basketball teams picked up some much-needed wins on Tuesday night and had some close competitive action on Friday night. But perhaps the most exciting results came from the tail end of the week, when a couple of our sports were competing in district tournaments and our cheerleading squad even competed in state. All of the results and highlights of this exhilarating action begins right now. To start off, we lace up our shoes and step onto the basketball court. The girls opened up the latter half of league play on Tuesday night as Estacada looked to reclaim their prior dominance of North Marion as the Rangers were able to pull off a victory on a rare Saturday matchup back in January. This loss was most definitely the low point of the girls' season, as they only shot 10% from the field and could only post 20 points and struggled to get anything going. However, when the Rangers came calling on Tuesday, it was certainly not a low point by any stretch of the imagination, as the Lady Huskies showed Estacada what should have happened in the first meeting. It took a minute and a half for either side to score, but when that took place, it was the Huskies who struck first as Hannah Johnson laid it in off of a Ranger turnover. On the other end, a Ranger knocked down one of her 2 free throws. Sadly for Estacada, this score of 2-1 under 2 minutes into the game would be the closest the Rangers would come all evening. North Marion's lead slowly but surely rose to 6-1 with 2 buckets by Hannah, 8-1 from Jasmine Flores, 10-1 from Brianna Martinez, and 12-1 courtesy of Jennifer Nichols. The Lady Huskies did not slow down for the remainder of the half, and a last-second three-pointer by Jenny Nichols only added to the Huskies' embarrassingly large halftime lead of 38-15. Nichols was a huge factor in the Huskies' lead, as the rim was as big as the ocean for her in the opening quarters, raining in 4 three-pointers. North Marion was certainly not blowing the roof off Gym 1, but they were shooting a solid 41%. Any hope of a miraculous Estacada second-half comeback was smothered when the Lady Huskies came out of the half and scored the first 9 points, even before the Rangers had a chance to catch their breath. After a Chandra Hammond free throw with 2 minutes remaining in the ballgame, a quick glance at the scoreboard, followed by some complex math, showed North Marion up by 35, what would turn out to be their largest lead. Brianna capped off the Huskies' scoring with 2 additional points in the paint with under half a minute left in regulation. 63 points would turn out to be the Huskies' final offensive production, the most points scored all season, save for the 90-point outburst at Sweet Home in the early goings of the season. If anything positive could be said for Estacada, it was consistency, as they scored 15 points in each half, finishing with 30 points. The 63-30 decisive margin in the Huskies' favor was a complete reversal of the earlier matchup between these two teams. Taking a look at the box score, Jennifer Nichols and Hannah Johnson led the scoring attack with 14 and 13 points each. Rebounding was dominated by Courtney Lee with 11 and Brianna with 10. Another individual highlight was a 5-steal performance by Nicole Fertland. As one could imagine, the team stats were completely one-sided to correspond with the 63-30 score. The Lady Huskies out-rebounded Estacada 47-22 and committed only 15 turnovers compared to the Rangers' 24. North Marion finished shooting 39% while Estacada shot 32%. The Huskies' bench was also stronger, nearly doubling the Rangers' bench production at 27-14. On Friday, the girls traveled to LaSalle to play the Falcons. Earlier in the season, when the girls played the Falcons to open up league at home, they won by a fairly large margin, but this time things were a little bit different. LaSalle ended up getting the victory at 42-36. Jennifer Nichols led the Huskies in scoring with 12 points, and even after a strong second quarter, the team could not regain in the second half and continue playing strongly. As we come down the final stretch of the regular season, the girls' team is still on the outside looking in terms of an automatic qualifying play-in berth. However, given both the girls' strong preseason record and the toughness of the Tri-Valley Conference, North Marion will be first in line for one of the 4 at-large spots in the play-in round. At this point, it looks like a game at Tillamook, the number 16 in the state, is the most likely outcome for the regional play-in round. The girls still have an opportunity to lessen the quality of their play-in round opponent by playing out the final 3 games of league with intensity. Now I'm going to pass it on over to Logan Beiser for the boys' side.
So why don't you show them what we do? Yo, they ask me, fly back, what you gonna do?
Thanks, Cole. As with the girls, the boys opened up the second round of the league as Estacada came to North Marion with hopes of reversing what happened earlier this season, where the Huskies defeated the Rangers by 9. As has been the norm, the Huskies scored right off the opening tip, as a few quick ball reversals ended up resulting in a Nathan Summers lay-in. Summers scored yet again just under a minute later, again off a fast break, as North Marion took off the lead 4-0. But after those 2 early buckets, the game slowed up considerably, as the Huskies' next score wasn't until Caden Christensen pump faked and threw in a short-range jumper with 2 minutes left in the opening period. To round out the first quarter scoring, Kyle Martin cruised past the Rangers' defense and scored on a wraparound lay-in. Meanwhile, Estacada just could not keep up with even the mediocre offensive production, as they could only collect 1 point throughout the entire first period. North Marion extended their lead to 12-3 before the Rangers knocked down back-to-back 3-point shots to snap right back into the game. North Marion was able to build a respectable halftime lead by closing the quarter on an 8-3 run, which saw Matt McLaren collect his own miss and score. Nathan Summers also hit a jump shot and some free throw points. The half ended with Kyle Martin slicing through the Estacada's defense with time winding down, but his bank attempt went a little too hard off the glass. Kyle Williamson saved the day by gathering the overshot ball and banking it in perfectly himself, all in one fluid motion as the buzzer sounded. As you can see, Kyle Williamson got the ball out of his hands with just 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Although the first half was not a perfect showcase of North Marion basketball, the exciting ending propelled the Huskies into a half with some momentum. The slow tempo of the theme continued into the second half, where the Huskies improved their 8-point lead to 11 by the end of the third. In the fourth, North Marion got looks at leads as big as 21, but were happy to settle for a 17-point victory over the Rangers. The game was never tied, and there were no lead changes as the Huskies led for the entire game, wire to wire. Taking a quick glance at the stat sheet, Nathan Summers led the team with 14 points, while Kyle Martin followed with 10. Matt McLaren led the team in rebounding, followed by Jeremy Parkinson and Kyle Williamson. Other stat highlights include 3 blocks coming from Summers and 4 steals also coming from Nathan. As a team, the Huskies shot 45% while Estacada was down in the dumps at 25. The Huskies out-rebounded the Rangers 32-25 and turned the ball over less times than Estacada. North Marion went without a 3-point field goal all game long, but as it was easy to see, the Huskies were not hurt by it. Going into Friday, LaSalle, one of the top-ranked teams in the state and the top-ranked team in the league, came to visit North Marion as the Huskies closed out their 3-game homestand. In the first matchup, the Falcons won by 15 points as the Huskies could not keep up down the stretch. The Huskies were looking for their shot at a revenge on Friday night. To start off the game, guess who scored first? Yes, North Marion. We consistently start off each game scoring, and this game was no different. Sawyer Jady knocked down a 3 to give North Marion the opening points of the game. Jacob McGraw, who was not present in the first meeting between those teams, countered with a 3-pointer for LaSalle. The Falcons had minimal leads throughout the first quarter, and after one period, LaSalle held a 22-16 lead in what was turning out to be a high-scoring affair. Kyle Martin saw the Huskies' desperate need of points in the second quarter to have a shot at keeping up, so he took that as a challenge of his own and had a tremendous quarter. To kick off the second quarter, the Huskies narrowed the 6-point deficit to 2 right off the bat. However, LaSalle scored 8 of the game's next 10 points to reclaim a sizable margin. However, the Huskies caught fire and went on a big run to close the gap. The run started as Kyle Martin poked away a LaSalle Falcons pass. Kyle used his breakaway speed to separate himself from all Falcon defenders, and he dunked it at the other end. Intermixed with Falcon turnovers, a Nathan Oliver lay-in pulled the Huskies within 4 once again. Unfortunately, that was as close as they would be for the remainder of the game. LaSalle closed out the first half with consecutive baskets to take an 11-point halftime lead and dampen the Husky spirits. In the second half, 10 points is as close as North Marion would come. although it did feel a lot more competitive throughout 3 quarters. But in the 4th, LaSalle ran away with things and took a 73-48 win over the Huskies. Looking at the stats, Kyle Martin led the Huskies with a solid 18-point effort. Sawyer and Summers both finished with 11 points apiece. Parkinson led North Marion with 7 rebounds. As a team, North Marion could only muster a 33% mark from the field, whereas LaSalle was flying high and shooting just under 50%. The rebounding category was close, but the same could not be said about the turnover column, as North Marion threw away the ball 30 times. LaSalle's leading scorer, Jake McGraw, made the difference. He racked up 20 points, making his absence in the first matchup between the 2 squads carry more weight. As with the girls, the boys are sitting just outside of an automatic qualifying play-in spot, but would be first in line for an at-large bid. So likely opponent for the Huskies would be a number 1 ranked Seaside Seagulls. North Marion played Seaside earlier this season, and the Huskies actually gave the Seagulls a run for their money in a close 8-point loss, marking one of the closest games of Seaside's season. However, the boys also have a shot to play an easier opponent if they close out the league season strong. Now that Cole's changed into his Speedo, we're going to give it to him for swimming.
Thanks, Logan. As the swim team used a long trip to Madras to prepare for the 2-day district meet, everyone did well, as there were improved times all over the board. There were 10 teams in attendance. The girls took 8th and the boys took 5th. In the 200 free, Kobe Lemon qualified 6th on the first day and took 5th overall. The 400 free relay team dropped 4 seconds from Friday to Saturday and took 5th in the meet. For the boys, the 200 medley relay team qualified 6th place on Friday, but managed to drop 2 seconds to take 4th. In the 200 free, Grant Cooper took 5th, and in the 500 free, he took 3rd, dropping 9 seconds from Friday to Saturday. Even though there were no automatic qualifiers, Grant Cooper is heading to state in the 500 and the 200, Kobe Lemon in the 200, and also the boys medley relay team. Now here's Josh Hauser with some cheerleading information.
Thanks, Cole, and we have some very exciting news coming from the cheerleading squad and its participation this Saturday in the OSAA State Championships. In the past 5 years, the North Marion cheer team has set the standard for great cheerleading, having won 5 consecutive state championships. Heading into this season without head coach Kezia Malinsky, people were speculating that the dynasty was over, but new coach Erica Flores showed that it's not over yet. They kept up their reputable name from Memorial Coliseum in Portland by beating out everyone else in the 4A small school division to win their 6th consecutive state championship, edging out Cascade's cheerleading team by less than a point. Congratulations to our cheerleaders, and we look forward to them winning another one next season.
Thanks, Josh. And now for the wrestling recap. The wrestlers were the second North Marion team to reel in a championship on Saturday. The team had already captured the duels title by going undefeated in league play. They put an exclamation mark on that by winning the district championship tournament by an unheard of margin of over 100 points. Now here's North Marion Athletics wrestling expert Shane Whitehead, who is on the phone to break down the exciting championship action. Hey Shane, how are you today?
Hey Cole, I'm doing great.
Can you give us a little more detail on Saturday's action?
The Huskies traveled to Estacada to partake in the Tri-Valley Wrestling District Tournament. Unlike other district tournaments such as cross-country and swimming, Madras did not attend, and instead Roosevelt High School participated. The Huskies dominated the tournament, clinching the district title by a landslide. North Marion had 18 wrestlers placed between 1st and 4th place, thus gaining a spot in the District 1 tournament. First place finishes were won by Jake Stiegel, Johnny Lara, Lucas Randall, and Gary Card. Kelton Boykin, Joey Vidak, Zach Hassan, and Brennan Patterson all took 2nd place in their weight classes. Orion Walters, Chance Stamps, Spencer Christie, Cody Walker, Jaden Davis, and Maria Elias all won in consolation and claimed 3rd place. And making their way into the District 1 tournament, Adam Vega, Bernardo Avendano, Tyler Salcedo and Ryan Bessel all took 4th place.
We understand some school history was made by this wrestling team. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
The Huskies stepped up their game this season and won both the league dual title, going undefeated in league, and winning the district tournament. This feat has not been achieved at North Marion since the 1970s.
So now that the team has the league championship in the bag, what's next?
On Saturday, North Marion plays host to the Quapaw League finalists along with the Tri-Valley League finalists in the District 1 tournament, which you will find out about in more upcoming events. Individually, placing at this tournament is vital for the Huskies in order to send as many wrestlers to the state tournament.
Thanks, Shane. Congratulations to you and your team for this high level of success.
Thanks, Cole. I'll talk to you after the District 1 tournament.
Now here's the answer to the North Marion Athletics trivia question. The question was, what number did future NFL running back Pat Chaffee wear while at North Marion? And the correct answer is 42. Pat Chaffee was an outstanding player here at North Marion and later at Oregon State, and that propelled him into the NFL. But in his days here at North Marion, his jersey read 42. Congratulations to Zach Williamson from Aurora, Oregon for answering this week's trivia question correctly. Join in next week as we ask another question. Now it's time for the High Flying Performer with Josh Hauser.
Let's go.
Thanks, Cole. This week's North Marion Athletics FBLA High Flying Performer is Jennifer Nichols of the girls basketball team. Jenny had an amazing first half against Estacada as she dropped 4 3-point shots. In this game, she was raining in so many threes, Mr. Jones considered purchasing gutters for the gym. Jennifer followed Tuesday's game with a great game against LaSalle where she scored 12 points, leading the team once again. Congratulations to Jenny for being this week's North Marion Athletics FBLA High Flying Performer. And remember to visit Miss Island in Room 2 and purchase your balloons, as they are perfect for any occasion.
Let's go.
Now here's Cole with our play of the week.
Thanks, Josh. On this week's Play of the Week, we go back to last Friday in the boys' game against LaSalle. Hayden Christensen was tightly guarding LaSalle's point guard and forced him to make a lazy pass. Kyle Martin, always keen on defense, saw the pass and jumped underneath. Kyle got the ball and sprinted up the court. When he got underneath the basket, he elevated and slammed it down, giving the Huskies some momentum back after a LaSalle dunk earlier in the game. This week's Play of the Week gives Kyle his second dunk of the season. Now here's Wyatt Moore with more upcoming events presented by Jamba Juice.
Now it's time for more upcoming events brought to you by Jamba Juice. To start things off on Tuesday, the basketball teams head on over to Madras to take on the White Buffaloes. And with nothing going on Wednesday and Thursday, they will be used to prepare for Friday, where a select few of swimmers will head to the state meet at Mount Hood Community College. Friday also brings the Molalla basketball teams to NM as the Huskies lace up to face the Indians on hardwood. And for all of the 7 seniors on the boys' side, it will be their last competitive game in Gym 1. They play at 7. 5 senior girls will also be playing for their last home game as they start at 5:30. Also on Saturday, the wrestlers host the regional tournament that starts at 9 in the morning. That's it for more upcoming events. Remember to go to Jamba Juice in the Woodburn Outlet Mall to get your 20% off discount of your whole price by showing your North Marion student body card. Now let's hand it back over to Cole. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Wyatt. And again, we'd like to thank Young Life as always. Be sure to go to the Hub in Hubbard every Monday night at 8 p.m. for Young Life Club. And also, be sure to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter for all your social media needs considering North Marion Athletics. That's it for this week. I'm Cole Costello.
hands up.